Well, how much risk do we take when we get up in the morning to go drive to work? Get into a car crash, maybe. I don't know. Everything, I think, takes risk. So to answer that question, every time we all suit up, we're all taking a risk that we could potentially get hurt, whether it's a concussion, a broken bone, anything. You get up.
Yeah, look at that.
Welcome into Game Changers.
I take a risk every time I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I might get injured.
You walk it through the dark.
I do it like 3 or 4 times. I do it 3 or 4 times a night. So it's.
Oh wow! So the risk increases.
I stubbed my toe one time. That didn't feel good.
That's one of the worst pains in the world. That or hitting like your shin on the coffee table. Welcome into Game Changers. Mike Cugno alongside Kim Boatcamper. We got Steve Goldstein.
Where is Goldie?
Somewhere in the world on the road with the Panthers. Yeah. Goldie, where are you this week?
He's Waldo. Where's Waldo?
I am near. Well, very good. I am near Stephen Ross's creation, the owner of the Dolphins, at Hudson Yards in New York City on the west side.
That's right. Panthers playing the Rangers this week. That's why Goldie is on the road.
You having dinner at his restaurant per se?
I have not. Should I tell him I know Kim Boatcamper? Walk in? How do I
they'll charge you double if you do that. You know that.
Tell him. What kind of relationship there do you have with Stephen Ross? I didn't know who I'm hanging out with on these shows, man. I'll just tell him I'm
Steve Goldstein. Come on. Everyone knows Goldstein.
All right, guys. We just heard a little spicy Tua back in the spicy Tua back in the mix here with the Dolphins. Obviously, guys. He is not happy with the perception that he is like the concussion guy in the NFL. Bo, I'll start with you here. Were you surprised that this was the Tua we got right out of the gate coming off IR? Not
really. Not really. You know, he's been sitting around for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and literally every show, every sports show, all the sports pages across the country, Tua, he's been everywhere, and I can understand him being a little salty, with everyone saying, oh, he shouldn't, if he's doing this, he's right, he's doing it, and it's been like this for him since he was in Alabama. I mean, he has been tormented and judged, and he's a polarizing guy, and so I can see a little salt coming there, and look, I might have been the same thing with him, and look, as I've said all along with him, it's nobody's decision to make what he wants to do but himself, and so he made the decision, and he wants to make it, but again, he doesn't want to be the guy, that's the guy, the concussion guy, he'd like to be when his career's done, is not the concussion guy, the guy that won 2 or 3 Super Bowls, and so let's change, he wants to change the narrative.
Yeah, Gold, is it fair, the narrative around Tua? Because, I mean, he, for whatever reason, since the day he got in here, and this may be even going back to Flo as the head coach, this guy's been maybe the most polarizing athlete in South Florida?
Well, it's been a strange plight for him, make no mistake. I mean, literally, from day one when he got there, his own team that drafted him high was trying to replace him. I mean, they were busted by the NFL for trying to get Tom Brady. All those Deshaun Watson rumors were out there. So it was kind of a strange thing. And then Mike McDaniel comes in, and everything's pretty good year 1. Everything's phenomenal year 2 because he's healthy. So some of this stuff is because of the plight that he has taken. Is it fair? Look, in this day and age, I think, media's always been media, but now where every single person sitting in their kitchen on a cell phone has a voice that everyone can hear, you're not going to get any fair. And to be honest with you, Tua, and you know this, you guys know this being out there in the OTAs when the contract wasn't done, Tua's been a little bit spicy since the spring, to be honest with you, whether it was about the contract, and now it's about, and whether you think he's right or wrong for playing, everybody is telling this young man, he's a guy in his 20s, what he should do with the rest of his life. I think almost anybody in that position, for whatever the reason would be a little bit spicy. And Mike, I think you hit marketing gold with your misspeak. Some sushi place should make the spicy Tua roll because he is spicy.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened.
But Mike, you remember after he spoke, you go into the media room, and all the writers and all the media people and the TV people in there, everybody had different opinions in that one room. You had so many different opinions flying around. Now amplify it with everybody that cares about the NFL. NFL, everybody that cares about sports, and certainly everybody that cares about the Miami Dolphins. And it's just, you could see where, and look, the thing with you when you think, when he gets by himself, and we all get by ourselves, and we have our thoughts that really drive us. Yep. Can you imagine the things that have gone through his head when he's laid down on the pillow or been by himself driving in the car, of what's going on and what people are saying about him, good, bad, indifferent, whatever? It's got to be just tormenting.
Or how about what's going through his head just watching what's even happened to the team the last few weeks? Goldie, Mike McDaniel mentioned it this week. He told the team, look, Tua is not the savior. I vehemently disagree with that notion. I think he absolutely is, because for Mike McDaniel, we heard the story when you mentioned it, when Tua signed that deal. We heard the story, I believe Tua mentioned himself, that he heard through the grapevine that Mike McDaniel went to the owner and was saying, we need to get this deal done. This is why. So, Goldie, do you agree or disagree that Tua is a savior for this team right now?
Well, first off, Mike was a prophet, right? He finally stepped in because he said, hey, we desperately need this guy. And Mike McDaniel was right, because this offense is the worst offense in football, incredibly, without him. Now, Mike McDaniel, I believe, is saying that to take the pressure off him. There's enough pressure on him already. And then if the guy in charge comes out and says, oh, yeah, he's the guy that has to solve all of the problems, he doesn't want to do that. There is no question. I mean, there's been, 4 different guys have played quarterback while he's gone. They've now signed another guy to be in the mix. There are no answers. There are no other quarterbacks available to this football team. Forget about winning big, that can even function this offense to make it look like an NFL offense. So clearly he's the guy. I think everybody in that locker room, which is really what matters, all those players think he's the guy, because, hey, Tyreek Hill, who's always entertaining, as you know, Mike, on his media day, he basically came out and said, man, like the old, we're back. So we'll see how it shakes out on Sunday. He's the savior.
Goldie, you and Mike, we both saw this in real time. First day of training camp, Tua comes out, and then he's practicing. And then all of a sudden the next day he says, no, I'm not going to practice anymore. And you got a dose of Skylar Thompson and Mike White, and the next day Tua's got a contract. Right?
I mean, no, it was the greatest. It was the greatest negotiating tactic I think I've ever seen play, without maybe even saying a word. I mean, just to watch what it looks like with him, without him, and then we actually saw it during the season is crazy. All right, guys, we got to move ahead here. Coming up next on Game Changers, we're going to talk to somebody who's going to be a new recurring guest here on the show, Terron Armstead.
Whoa, the big man.
He's joining Game Changers. We're going to talk to him next, get his thoughts about Tua's return.
Give Goldie one of those punches that those tackles give him.
Wow, attacking Goldie. That's why we had to separate. That's why we sent him away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Game Changers. As promised, we have a very special guest in the house. Dolphins starting left tackle Terron Armstead is in here. T-Stead, first of all, the chain. Yeah. I'm glad you wore it. It's nice. It's nice that the other two guys, Goldie and Bo, they don't bring this level of class to the show. So I appreciate you wearing the bling. Let's get into obviously the big news this week. Your quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, back in action, back at practice Wednesday. For you and your teammates, how big was it just to see him be on the field again? It's been 5-6 weeks coming. Yeah. It's been a long time since that concussion back in week 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much that this young man brings to not just us in the locker room, but to the organization as a whole, to the city. He's special. He's dynamic, and as he's been gone, you can see how much we've missed him. And everything that he brings, his ability to improvise and create when it's not much there. He brings so much to the team, so much energy, so much enthusiasm to the team that it's exciting to have him back.
Mike McDaniel mentioned it in his press conference this week that it seems every year the votes for his captaincy continue to go up and up and up. So I imagine just having him back as a leader makes it completely different or gives a completely different feel to that huddle. And there's no disrespect to the other guys; they've only been here a month or so. Right. But just having that voice back in the huddle, what does that do?
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably the biggest the biggest step I've seen Tua take in my 3 years with him now is his development and his growth as a leader, as a captain, much more vocal, much more outspoken and willing to challenge guys. But he's been super active throughout this time that he's haven't been playing. He's been very active in every position group, putting his input, trying to get a deeper understanding on what everyone is doing in their, say, a position group. So he's been extremely active, and now being able to get back on the field and demonstrate and put his best foot forward. I think the time that he had away and all of the work that he put in and that progression, I think he's going to see an even bigger step when he returns to the field.
I got to ask, are you on social media at all?
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay, because Dolphin Nation, it seems like the sky is falling with the way things have gone so far through the early parts of the year. But you've been through this before. When you were in New Orleans, you guys had lost Drew Brees for stretches of time. So could you maybe peel back the curtains and let us know maybe what a team has, when this has happened to a team in the past, when you lose your quarterback, and why it's not necessarily the end of the road? There's still a lot of season left.
For sure. It's early. It's early. Now, the thing to pay attention to is once you start you get some losses and you drop games that you feel like you should win, that window start to close. That margin for error gets smaller. So you have to pay attention to that, because once you take some losses to teams that you feel like you should beat, that's when you start messing around with the playoff positioning, the seed, and all those things. But it's early. We just finished our 6th game. We're not out of anything. We're not. We have everything that all our hopes and dreams are still right in front of us, and that's the part that makes us optimistic. And now getting Tua back to be able to drive that forward. Like you said, in New Orleans, Mike, I've been without Drew not often. He was pretty durable, even though he was banged up dealing with a lot. But the times that we didn't have Drew, Teddy Bridgewater came in. He went 5-0 as the backup, and he is a New Orleans legend from that 5-game stretch. Yeah. But through that 5-game stretch, he didn't necessarily light it up either. I mean, he had a couple games where he threw extremely well, and it's the focus of the team, the way to win a game. You have to play the game differently because you don't have that franchise guy at the moment. So we were able to run the ball effectively, but our defense through that 5-game stretch played lights out. Yeah,
that reminds me of something Mike McDaniel said this week about, he told you guys, look, Tua's not the savior in this. We still have to get everybody else better too. How much did you guys take that to heart?
It's a real thing, man. It's completely it's unrealistic. It's unfair to just think that we'll be able to throw him the keys and he'll right the ship. Like, that's not how this thing works. He's one player. He's a big impact for sure. Right. But the way we've been able to run the ball, that has to be our staple. That has to be the foundation of everything that we do moving forward. The way the defense has played, they have to be everything that they have been plus more. Like we want to see them be the best unit in the league, and up front on the O-line, like, we feel like we can run the ball against anybody. So we have those things. We keep pushing forward and focusing on those things from our position groups, and then we can get one back. It'll be. I like where we are. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I want to push the conversation towards the rest of the NFL now. November 5th is coming up. Yes, it's election day. We can make all the jokes there. But that's also the trade deadline. And at the time of this taping, there was some pretty big news in the NFL. Cooper Kupp's name popped up on the trade market, according to Diana Rossini. Yeah, a former NFL or Super Bowl MVP, all of a sudden a couple of years later is on the market. When you see things like that in the NFL, does that just remind you that, oh, this is a business?
It's a business, kind of forget. It's a business. Listen, you can never forget. You can never forget. And I think as players that play the longest, you never can get comfortable. You always got to prove yourself every day, and that's the approach to take. Prove yourself every day. So you have durability issues like Cooper Kupp has had, which is the only reason his name will ever pop up in the waiver wire in the trade talks, because of injuries. You win a Super Bowl, you win a Triple Crown, you think you're good for life. You're a Ram for life. That's just not how it works, man. It's a production-based business. It is, and it's unapologetic. But that's the world that we live in. And it's not just in the NFL either. Like, Klay Thompson won 4 championships over with Golden State, and Now he's a Dallas Maverick. You know what I mean? But what you would think, I won sports championship, one of the greatest Warriors ever. I'll be here forever. But it's not the case, man. It's a production-based business. I always took the mindset that from the moment I walked in the door, they are looking to replace me. I got to make it very hard on them to do that.
Yeah. What's your reaction when you see some of these big trades in the NFL go down? I mean, just in your division alone, last week you see Devontae Adams rejoin with Aaron Rodgers. You see Amari Cooper pop up with the Bills. Are you guys like us where you scroll through your phone and you're like, damn.
Yeah. Two incredible players for sure. You know, we know what Devontae has been doing in this league for a long time, and Coop as well. You know, so these teams they're trying to position themselves to get themselves the best chance in January and February. And that's what it's all about. Like they're making these moves to get themselves in the best opportunity for January and February. It's just the GMs to start to play chess, and I think we'll see a lot more moves being made as we get closer to that trade deadline.
We will eventually talk basketball with this guy because I know you're a bit of a hooper. Too. Yeah. But the NBA season is kicking off today. Do you have a favorite this year, or who's your favorite team? Who you locked in on?
Look, Mike, I brought up the Warriors. Yeah. I'm a big Steph fan.
Okay.
Huge Steph Curry fan. I got his name tattooed on me. No, I don't.
No, I was going to say.
No, but I'm a big fan.
We got to see that.
No, that is a joke. No tattoo. But huge fan of the Warriors, of Steph Curry. I love what they have done and the dynasty that they had built, and trying to get back to the top. The young players, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, you know, those guys being able to step into the role now with the void of Klay Thompson. I think the Warriors are still a force to be reckoned with.
Okay, you heard it here first. We'll see if that happens. Of course, the Miami Heat didn't bother to mention them. No. Where they at?
Hey, you asked me a question.
I know. I asked you the question. You answered.
Listen, I do like Miami for sure. And the only issue with them is durability. It's just been that they haven't been able to be healthy. Put a healthy roster out there. If they're able to do that, they're always in. There's no counting Miami Heat out ever.
Coach Bo works his magic like no one else.
It's insane.
It's crazy. All right, Terron Armstead, T-Stead, thanks for bringing the bling. Thanks for bringing the behind-the-scenes info. We appreciate it. Hopefully, we're going to see him much more here on Game Changers. But man, thanks so much for hopping on. We got much more with Goldie and Bo on the other side of the break.
You're an official Swiftie.
Yes. Sign me up. I'm in.
Yes.
What a great event. And everybody's just so happy to be here. And everybody here is just so nice and kind of spreading the love.
Goldie the Swiftie. Who knew? By the way, it seems like every time he goes to a concert, he's getting blasted on this show.
Look, he's not even a girl dad.
No.
He's a guy dad. You should be at the Royal Rumble, or you should be at the
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. That's where you should be. Instead, you're trading bracelets with the Swifties out there. I got a bad call on you. Someone told me I saw Goldie at the Taylor Swift contest, and he was wearing some of those yoga pants. You know, those tight, the yoga tights.
Oh,
you know.
Wait, the joggers?
Yeah.
No. Don't knock the joggers. I wear them on the show sometimes.
You know.
Goldie, defend yourself.
You know, it's not like I'm all into this and I'm into it like all the time. I mean, it was just one night. It was, it's funny because number one, I just ran into our own Lisa Petrillo walking into the stadium. What I had to see the spectacle of this. That this many people
I could see that.
are into something that much.
Yeah.
And it was really, and I've seen a lot of concerts, a lot of great, groups over time and a lot of great performers. I'd never seen anything like that. It was amazing, and the fact that she's able to do that night after night is truly incredible to me. So it was a great experience. I do like her music. I don't love all of it, but I like the music. I'm going to go and say that.
I bet you
and it was just a lot of fun to be there, and, that's it.
Goldie, were you the only one in there that was wearing an App State hat and a bracelet with Travis Kelce's name on it?
Hey, I got the "Let's Go Home, Baby" bracelet.
Yes,
on
there
there.
you go.
So that's pretty good. That's a personalized one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Did you make that yourself?
I did not. I don't know how to make them.
I will say this. Had someone offered me tickets to the show, 100% I would have been there.
Yeah.
All you hear is good things about the Taylor Swift. I'm very jealous I didn't go, but I have no mental capacity to sign up early on Ticketmaster or whatever and try to get in these raffles. I can barely find time enough in the day to have lunch. So I credit you for going, getting tickets. That's 100% awesome. And Bo's right. You're the only person with an App State hat on in that building.
Let me tell you what. I had a friend of mine call me up and said, he's a member at Augusta National, which everybody was dying to play. Yeah. Said, I'll give you 6 rounds around Augusta National if you could give me 4 tickets for the Taylor Swift concert.
Wow. Did he give up the 6 rounds?
No, I couldn't get the ticket. And by the way, me on Augusta National, no. That's the greenskeepers would throw me out after 3 holes. So.
Our good friend John Kangemi has a hole-in-one at Augusta.
Yes, right.
Amazing. And the worst part is you can't take pictures or anything there. So that's just important. Okay. Big time over here. Goldie, so concert then, 1 out of 10 is 12, 15 as advertised.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. First of all, you kind of get your money's worth, because it's such a long event. You got to get there so far in advance, and everybody's in the parking lot. And, like the way I likened it was for all those, especially the young girls, girls, I'm talking teenagers, all the way up to their mid-20s. Like, here's the position I put myself in watching them. This was their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is like, one of us at a young age getting to go to a Super Bowl with our team in it for the first time. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event. And then she played for 3 hours and 20 minutes and played all the great songs. And the stage is changing pretty much every other song, which I can't imagine the amount of work that goes into it. So it was such a spectacle. And the best part was there's 60,000 people. And when she made some of her hand gestures or whatever she does for some of her songs, then you look up in the stands, every single person is doing the exact same thing that she is doing. It was remarkable.
Just gang
signs. It was a 10+. She's a great performer.
All the kidding aside, Goldie, is I saw pictures of men with their daughters. Girl dads that brought their girls, and they were just
shout out girl dads.
I mean, what a remarkable thing to see. Is those parents, those guys that came in there and just they have so much love for their daughters, and they would do anything to get them in there, and they did. I give those guys a ton of credit. And
to piggyback on that point, look, I'm 35 years old. I basically grew up with Taylor Swift when she was starting to come up. So you have people who are my age, mid-30s, 40s, with kids who are now young girls or teenagers. And so, amazingly, as young as Taylor Swift is, she kind of spans a couple generations.
Favorite song, Goldie? Cool. Favorite song of the night? Yeah. Which one?
Oh, man. I do like Bad Blood a lot. Yeah. And I like, Calm Down. I like that song, too.
I like the hits. Our song is the Slam and Screen Door. That's my tune.
Okay.
That's her, right?
Okay.
Little bit in the weeds for me. There was 1 or 2 songs about a breakup with an old boyfriend, I think. I think she has a couple of those.
A couple of those. I'm going to write a song about breakup with you two, because last week Goldie sang a song with Taylor Swift on the show. This week you sang a song. I could not pull 4 lyrics out of my head, and I apologize for that.
That's because you're in the gym all the time trying to get those biceps.
I'm gonna add Taylor Swift to the gym playlist.
To your playlist, there you go.
All right, still to come on Game Changers. We're going to talk about NBA, NFL crossover.
Get your Florida State bracelet.
I want Goldie to make me some bracelets, and then I'll wear them in the gym. We'll do all that. But Game Changers coming back. All right, we're rounding home here on Game Changers. Final topic. I thought it was something interesting NBA superstar Anthony Edwards brought up. He said, after I win an NBA title, I think I'm going to change careers and go try football. And I thought that was a very cool idea because, hey, look, you get a title in one, you get a title in another. Goldie, I'm going to come to you second. I want you to think about this. But here's the question, Bo. If you could take a past, present NBA player at the height of their powers and move them to football, you can even tell me what position they'd play. Who do you think could make that transition?
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot, and there's a number of guys in there. One of the guys I would think of going from football to basketball would be Mark Clayton, because he had the hops. He could jump over a ping pong table, and if you got hops like that, you could probably play in the NBA. But I'm going to go Karl Malone. Karl Malone, the mailman, could deliver the mail, and I think you put him in there, he's about 6'8", 6'9", 280, put him in that tight end position, and you'd have a hard time stopping. He'd be like a Jimmy Graham kind of guy, but only a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger.
The mailman always delivers. Goldie, who do you got?
It's easy for me, especially this guy can play both ways, so I need him to play like tight end on offense, outside linebacker or defense, specifically for the Dolphins. Give me Alonzo Mourning. Give me that attitude. Give me that mean. Give me that nasty.
Body fat.
Give me that pushing my teammates.
Yeah.
Give me some of that. Losing is the worst thing in the world.
I love it.
Give me some of that on the football
and
team.
you got 6'10" in the red zone there with that big arm.
Yeah.
Get that arm up there.
Not bad.
All right, 30 seconds. My guy's going to be Russell Westbrook. I think he's maybe the most explosive NBA athlete we've ever seen. Whether you like his shooting or not, the guy could jump out of the building, fastest guy on the floor. Great arm, because he could throw those dimes too. So I think he would have been a great wide receiver or a cornerback. So that's where we're at.
Now everyone's probably Allen Iverson. I think he played football. He was a great high school football player.
I think Randy Moss was his
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, crazy. We probably could have made this a very long
A lot of crosses could have been, yeah.
All right, that'll do it here for Game Changers. Goldie, enjoy Madison Square Garden. Enjoy your trip to Finland. Be safe. Come back here so we can give you a hard time about those bracelets. And, hey, make us some. You got a long flight over across the pond. Make us some bracelets,
Make some creative bracelets for us. Put them in blue, though, not pink.
I got to buy one of those little kits.
Yeah. You got time. All right, Goldie.
Hey, as long as when you're in coach going to Finland, you can go ahead and work on it there. All right?
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week on Game Changers.